You're the one who should leave this house, Grandma.
There's no need to show compassion to Charlie, who mocks me, her mother-in-law, by calling me Grandma. Now that I know her true colors, I won't hold back. No, you're the one who should leave. My name is Vivi. I work as a medical social worker helping patients in need. Because my name is unique, patients remember me easily. If you're wealthy and get seriously ill, you can focus on treatment. But if you're poor and have a long-term illness, you suffer twice as much. My job is to support patients, ease their worries, and give them hope by telling them there are various ways to get through this. I was thinking of retiring soon as I've reached 60, but then my husband fell ill and passed away. After the funeral, the emptiness of living alone in a big house started to sink in. I decided to renovate the house. Once it was done, I invited my eldest son and his wife to discuss something. Living alone in such a big house feels lonely and wasteful. Would you like to move in with me? My indecisive son, Brian, looks at his wife Charlie's face before giving his opinion. Brian is 32 and Charlie is 24. Though not a huge age gap, Charlie clearly wears the pants in the relationship. I don't mind. A woman being in charge is better than a man acting all high and mighty.
If you're okay with it, we'd love to live with you.
Charlie is always cheerful and competent, and I think she's a good daughter-in-law.
I'll do the cleaning.
Really? That would be a big help. Charlie gives Brian a smile that's more like a glare, and he mumbles, "Oh, sure." I chuckle and say, "Don't worry about finances. I'm still working and have savings. I'm not asking you to take care of me." Brian looks relieved. I chuckle again, realizing that was his concern. Charlie works part-time at a grocery store, but also takes care of the house. She handles all the chores so I can focus on my job. I talk more with Charlie than with my reserved son Brian, and we've had a good mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship.
What does a medical social worker do?
It's important work. For example, a male patient had a serious illness requiring long-term treatment. He was told his bill was $100 and argued with the clerk, thinking it was a mistake. Charlie listens intently. When this burly, rough-looking man raised his voice, the young clerk got scared. That's when I step in. I calmly talk to him, listen to his concerns, and help him relax. He works for a shipping company, doing heavy labor, like unloading trucks. Doctors tell him to avoid physical work, but that's easier said than done.
So that's where you come in?
Exactly. I encourage him to have a positive mindset. If he's feeling hopeless, he won't come up with good solutions. There are various systems in place to help people in need.
Systems?
There are new programs, so not everyone knows about them. That's where experts like me come in, to guide people toward hope. He got better and is now working happily.
Whoa, Vivi, you're doing God's work.
That's an exaggeration. One day, Charlie bought a new refrigerator. When I saw the strong man delivering it, I was surprised. "Is that you, Danny?" "I thought it might be you, Vivi. Your name is so unique."
You know each other?
"I'm glad to see you're doing well."
"Vivi, you saved my life. I would never forget your kindness."
After Danny left, I say to Charlie, "Remember the burly guy I told you about?"
Oh, you mean the guy who'd look like a villain when he wore a suit?
Don't judge a book by its cover. He's a kind-hearted man.
A scary face but a gentle heart? Is that your type?
What are you talking about? Charlie is a good person, but she has her reckless moments. She's free-spirited and has many male friends. She stays out late, which I find concerning, but she's still in her 20s, so I let it slide. One night, she came home around 2 a.m., quite drunk, after attending a reunion. Brian didn't seem to mind, so I didn't say anything. Then one day, Brian said to me,
"I'm worried Charlie might be cheating."
"Cheating? Do you have any proof?"
"I saw her. She was at a restaurant with a young man I don't know, looking very close and happy."
"Did you ask her about it?"
"I did, casually. She said he was a classmate from middle school."
It's not ideal for a married woman to be alone with a man other than her husband, but I didn't want to ruin the good relationship I had with Charlie by being too nosy. 10 years have passed since my husband died, and I'm now 70. I've retired from work. Then tragedy struck. Brian, only 42, suddenly fell ill and passed away. After the funeral, when it was just Charlie and me, I said, "The greatest act of filial piety is not to die before your parents. That way, parents don't have to experience the irreversible tragedy of losing a child."
Vivi.
2 months have passed since his death, and the sorrow hasn't faded. One day, Charlie called me.
Vivi, can I bring a friend over?
A friend? Sure. I assumed it would be a female friend, but it was a man. Long blonde hair, down to his shoulders, piercing eyes, a flashy leopard print shirt, and ripped jeans. Charlie introduced him with a smile.
This is Miles, a classmate from middle school.
Yo! That's his greeting for our first meeting? I've always told people not to judge others by their appearances, but this guy is pushing it. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I enjoy meeting Charlie in bed every night too.
Idiot.
I've never been fond of people with no class. I hope to God he's just a friend and not her lover. After that, Charlie kept bringing Miles to the house. The first time was the only time she asked for permission. It's only been just 2 months since Brian passed away, so I can't believe this. I can't help but remember what Brian said about Charlie possibly cheating. Miles is 34, old enough to know better, but he stomps around and acts like he owns the place. I love this house. It's big and beautiful. I want to live here. What a terrifying thing to say. Miles is looking at the bookshelf. He sees the complete 60-volume comic series of The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, along with novels and related books. I like Romance of the Three Kingdoms too. My favorite general is Zhang Fei. You like Romance of the Three Kingdoms? I like Zhang Fei because he's hot-tempered, a heavy drinker, and quick to fight, just like me. I was glad to find a topic we could talk about, but imitating only the flaws of a general misses the point. Zhang Fei wasn't just brave, he was also a brilliant strategist. One of his plans succeeded so well that he broke through 14 enemy gates without shedding a drop of blood. Miles doesn't look convinced. If it's Zhang Fei, he'd break through those 14 gates with brute force. That doesn't sound like him. I guess we're not going to see eye to eye. What do you do for work, Miles? Work? I'm not working right now. Charlie quickly jumps in.
Miles is pursuing a career in music, so he's not exactly unemployed.
I'll fill a stadium someday. Just you watch. Caught off guard by Miles' sudden shout, I ask, "So do you play rock music?" Of course it's rock, but my band recently broke up. I'm 34 now, and my parents are telling me to get a stable job. But I'm not listening to such faint-hearted people.
But your dad supports your dream.
My dad gave me his debit card. I was shocked to see it already had $30,000 in the account. I wondered if his parents are wealthy. With $30,000, you could live quite comfortably. I'm not impressed with his personality or his first impression. If you don't manage that $30,000 carefully, it'll be gone before you know it. Even a part-time job that pays $100 a month would help, and you could supplement it with that $30,000. Wait a minute, old lady. I'm taken aback by being called an old lady. You're 70, so you're not an old lady. I guess you're a grandma. How I use my money is my business. Why are you acting so high and mighty? I'm trembling with anger. Why is he even here? What's even more shocking is that Charlie's laughing along with him.
Miles is a rocker to his core, Vivi. You can't expect him to be sensible.
Is that so? As I get up to leave the room, I hear Miles' voice from behind. Hey, are you forfeiting the match? Did this man change Charlie? No, that's not it. Charlie was probably always like this. I was fooled for so long. People are terrifying creatures. One night, I overhear them. I like this house. I wish the old lady would move out.
I have a good idea. We'll make her want to leave.
I wish I hadn't heard that. This is my house. I'm not going anywhere. One evening, Charlie comes back from the grocery store, and not just with Miles, but with a bunch of shady characters. They start a drinking party in the living room, making a lot of noise and laughing loudly. It's probably intentional. After the party, Charlie delivers the final blow.
Vivi, we're going to karaoke now. Clean this up for us.
Charlie points at the messy table and laughs. So it's come to this. As Charlie and her friends leave the house, the words I should have kept inside slip out of my mouth. I never thought you would be so deceitful, Charlie. You'll regret betraying me. I've reached my breaking point. The blatant harassment from Charlie and Miles continues. They're probably waiting for me to leave on my own, but that's not going to happen. Their plan is transparent and pathetic. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, that's my motto. Physical fights are for children. Using wisdom and non-violence is how adults fight. The Romance of the Three Kingdoms is a practical guide to strategy that still applies today. Now's the time to use strategy to drive away my enemies, and my spirit is ignited. I'll show these 30-somethings how vibrant today's 70-year-olds can be. One Sunday, after Miles comes over, I say to both of them, Charlie, I have something important to discuss. Miles, you should listen too.
Perfect timing. I have something to talk about as well.
We sit across the table from each other. Miles sits arrogantly. Charlie says with a smile,
Vivi, you're so clueless. Time to wake up. Please leave this house.
What are you talking about? This is my house. If you don't want to live with me, you should leave.
But renting an apartment is expensive. We can live here without paying rent.
Rent-free's the best. Even without a mortgage, money keeps going out for taxes, utilities, and food. But rent is the biggest expense.
So, Vivi, since you're rich with lots of savings, please give this house to us poor young people. We'll be grateful.
I'm utterly disgusted by their audacity. I was shocked to the core. Charlie, with such a wicked heart, you'll be abandoned by heaven.
Heaven? Have you reached enlightenment? You must be close to passing away. My condolences.
Charlie puts her hands together in a mocking prayer, and Miles does the same.
My condolences.
If they're going to mock me like this, I'm ready to take action. The one who should leave is you.
You're the one who's leaving, Grandma.
Even if she's my daughter-in-law, there's no need to show compassion to Charlie, who mocks me as a grandma. Now that I know her true colors, I won't hold back. No, you're the one who's leaving. Just then, the doorbell rings. Ah, they're here. I said and head to the entrance. Danny appears in the living room, not in his work clothes, but in an expensive-looking suit, without a tie, exuding authority. Charlie tilts her head and asks,
A mover?
Miles, who had been acting so arrogantly, turns pale and sits back down.
Oh, why, Dad?
Dad?
Danny glares at Miles, his face full of anger.
I heard everything from Vivi. How dare you mess with the person who saved my life? I'll never forgive you. It's not like that. If this table weren't in someone else's house, I'd have already flipped it.
Miles, trembling with fear, asks in a low voice,
What do you mean by flipped? Shut up. I'm sorry.
This time, Danny glares at Charlie and speaks in a low voice.
Do you think you can just mess around with people?
I'm not messing around.
Charlie also slumps down, looking small.
I asked if you're messing around.
I said I'm not.
This woman is a lifesaver for me. If it weren't for her encouragement, I wouldn't be who I am today. If you mess with her, I'll never forgive you. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
Danny then glares at Miles.
You can't act like this in someone else's house. Miles, let's go. Wait, please. Nope, I'm not waiting.
Miles, who has lost all color, slowly stands up and suddenly dashes out.
Stop right there.
Danny also runs after him. I sternly say to Charlie, who's sitting down, Charlie, leave this house today.
Today? Wait, please.
I'm not waiting. Charlie kneels down and clasps her hands together.
I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
There's no way I can forgive you. You intentionally harassed me to kick me out of the house. Leave now.
I'm sorry, Vivi. Please forgive me. I beg you.
Charlie grabs my hands, but I push her away. There are things that can be forgiven with an apology, and things that can't. What you did can't be forgiven no matter how much you apologize. Leave now. Charlie's face turns red. She bites her lip and adopts a solemn attitude.
Vivi,
I'm just a grandma, right?
I take it back. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Words once spoken can't be taken back, and they probably reflect your true feelings. Charlie stands up, approaches me, and apologizes deeply again.
I have no money, so if you tell me to leave right now, I'll be in trouble. Please give me one more chance. I'll do it right.
You're probably laughing inside, aren't you?
Absolutely not. That's mean. I'm not laughing. So please spare me this time.
No, leave today. Perhaps sensing my resolve, Charlie quietly stands up and leaves the house with a look of despair. Some men might forgive a cute apology, but I'm not that soft. The next day, I get a call from Charlie. I thought about ignoring it, but I answer. Hello?
Vivi.
Can you stop calling me that? We're strangers now.
I have no intention of calling you anything other than Vivi.
Who was it that called me Grandma? Ignoring my sarcasm, Charlie quickly says,
Please help me, Vivi. Miles's friends are blaming me, saying it's my fault and they're targeting me.
It's your fault? Sounds about right.
Vivi, I'm really in a desperate situation. Please help me.
How is a 70-year-old grandma supposed to help you from scary people? Even as I keep being sarcastic, Charlie doesn't get angry but becomes more confused.
They're dangerous people, you understand, right?
I'm busy, so I'm hanging up.
Wait, please wait, Vivi. Lend me some money. I promise I'll pay you back.
I'm flabbergasted. I don't have a single penny to give you.
I want to run away, but I don't have the money for transportation. It's a once-in-a-lifetime request, Vivi.
I'm a 70-year-old grandma living on a pension. I don't have the luxury to give money to a stranger.
But you said you have savings.
Goodbye.
Wait.
I coldly hang up the phone. Being chased by dangerous people? This isn't a TV show or a movie. She's probably making up stories because she knows I won't lend her money. It's like a specialized scam. But something feels off. What if she's actually in danger? She's a young woman and I can't help but worry. If she gets caught, it's over for her. She must be terrified. Charlie did something unforgivable, but that doesn't mean I wish her ill. I can't be completely heartless. Then the phone rings again.
This is my last request, Vivi. Please help me.
Charlie?
Yes.
Your only option is to seek help from the police.
The police?
Don't call me again. You're the one who cut ties.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Her voice trembles as she hangs up. It all feels like an act. Building trust is hard and takes time. Like constructing a building, but it only takes a second to lose trust. That night, I get a call from the police and my heart races. Police? Is Charlie your daughter-in-law? Yes, what about it? She's seeking protection from us. She says you kicked her out. Is that true? I feel relieved. She seems to be safe. I've completely cut ties with her. Even if she has nowhere to live, there's nothing I can do. Can't you let her stay until she finds a new place? Absolutely not. I see. I don't mince words. My former daughter-in-law did something that bad. I decide to sell the house and move to an apartment. It's too big for one person, and cleaning is a hassle. Plus, there's a chance she might come back asking for help. Now that I know her true nature, I can't live with her, even if she apologizes tearfully. It's just not possible. There's also the issue of her blaming me for her problems. I don't want to be blamed for her deteriorating condition. I hurriedly packed my bags. Danny came to help me move. I'm really sorry for the trouble my son caused you last time. It's not your fault, Danny. At 34, he's a grown man. I sent him to the hospital, just so you know. What? I'm kidding, just kidding. The fact that it doesn't sound like a joke is scary. Once the move was complete and the heavy furniture was set up, all thanks to Danny, I felt relieved. Call me anytime you need some muscle. I'll be there in a flash. I may not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but I've got plenty of brawn. All my smarts went into my muscles. Ha ha ha. Thank you, Danny. I won't hesitate to call you when the time comes. Who would have thought Danny and Miles were father and son? It's a small world, but thanks to that, I was able to counterattack. I lost my husband, my beloved son, and now the last tie to my daughter-in-law is severed. But I don't feel particularly lonely. Thanks to my outgoing nature, I quickly became friends with the neighbors. A cheerful greeting is the first step to friendship. Looking back on the tumultuous past few weeks, I'm glad I caught on to Charlie's wickedness early on. I was on the verge of losing my home. People can be truly frightening. Now I'm living a luxurious and free life, listening to my favorite music, savoring my favorite coffee, and enjoying my favorite books. My days are comfortable and fulfilling. I'm glad I saved diligently.